Happy Friday. It's time for my weekly reading wrap up. I am 3 days post-op now from having my tubes removed and have been able to get a lot of reading done. Recovery's been pretty easy so far, so really happy about that. So let's go over what I read. Starting off, I read Never Whistle at Night. This is a horror anthology by a bunch of Indigenous authors, and this was fantastic. I really enjoyed learning some of the mythology that's in here, and some of these stories were genuinely so scary. I highly recommend this if you have not picked it up yet. I also read Not That Bad by Roxane Gay, or edited by Roxane Gay, and this is really impactful. I wanted to pick this up this week because of having sort of a feminist surgery and wanting to read women's stories about their sexual assault. And this was really impactful. It really highlights the different ways that people view sexual assault and how they can justify it to themselves of, oh no, that wasn't assault or that was assault and things like that. And this is a really impactful read. I also read Feybound by Sarah El Arifi. I have Cursebound, which is the next one in the series. I have an arc of that, so I wanted to get this read. I enjoyed this. I think I gave this like 3.5 stars. It's sapphic fae romance. I did think it felt a little bit flat in the end, but I am excited for the second book. And I thought this was like, it's very fast paced, so it doesn't feel quite as dense as other fantasy stories. I also read On Tyranny, and this is really important to read right now. I read or listened to the audiobook, and then I went out and purchased this because I'm going to annotate it. I keep seeing this all over my TikTok of people reading it, and that's for a reason. It's really important that we know and understand the message in here. I also read Onyx Storm. I was able to pick this up on release day, and I finished it over the weekend. I didn't pick it up right away, but I did get to it. I enjoyed it. You know, I think the ending was a little bit muddy for me. I did have to like go back and kind of like read spoilers of the ending like once I was done to try and make it all make sense. But I can see where it's setting it up for the next story, and I'm very excited to kind of see what goes on. That, you know, I think there's some major answers that we need. So I hope we get them. For books that I don't have physical copies of, I read Enemy of My Dreams by Jenny Williamson. It's a historical fiction. It almost feels like fantasy, but there's no magical elements to it, about Celtic warriors. And I enjoyed it for the most part. I did think the last like 20% of it was pretty rushed. There was just like a lot of like big plot points that happened where it was like they didn't give us a chance to like sit in that crisis, or in those plot points and kind of feel that. So I didn't love that, but I did enjoy that one overall. I gave it 3.75 stars. I also read Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fito. I really enjoyed this book. This is definitely weird girls doing weird things. It is about a governess who like moves in with this family and that's wealthy, I think in like the Navy, and you know is there to like raise the kids. She has some really gross and weird tendencies. I really enjoyed this. It's definitely an unhinged female rage type of book. I also read Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I really enjoyed this. It's definitely Regency Fae kind of romance, and I enjoyed it. I want to pick up the other two in the trilogy. This has been on my TBR for a long time, and a lot of people have said, you know, it's a very like cozy read for them, and I can see that. So I wanted to pick that up just to have something kind of light and fluffy. And then lastly, I just finished Earthlings by Sayaka Murata. And this was very weird, first of all, but it also, on top of just like being weird in terms of like the concepts, because the characters think that they're aliens, it deals with a lot of really heavy content. Like there's sexual abuse, there's parental abuse, there's inappropriate teacher student relationships, there's just a lot that goes on in there. So, you know, I think read it with caution if you're worried about any of those things. But I kind of liked the balance of these people are a little bit wacky because, yeah, they don't think that they're human. So they're almost able to like disassociate from some of the trauma that has happened to them. And so I thought that was like a really interesting balance of the story where we have some really lighthearted moments along with a lot of heavy, and it made it overall like lift it up just a little bit. So that's my reading wrap up for the week. I'm also going to post a full what I read this month and what I recommend it with a yes, no, or maybe. So check that out soon.